Hey, John English, art director at Luminus, buddy, pal. Welcome to the favorite project video. Why don't you tell people a little bit what you do on the team, and then we'll talk about your favorite project.
Right. I am one of the art directors at Luminus, so I help our clients out with branding and identity and basically a lot of the design needs, the visual aspects of their branding and marketing.
Yeah, so not surprisingly, I'm pretty sure what theme your favorite topic will be on. So why don't you give us the scoop? What's your favorite project that you've worked on as part of the Luminous team recently?
So the one I chose for this is the Russin brand project. We recently rebranded Russin Lumber to now Russin, but we did a whole visual identity overhaul for them. I think it turned out great. So as of now, that is my favorite project
What
to
makes
date.
it the one that stands out in your mind?
So what was nice about this project, or what I think was most satisfying to me, is that we were able to give the client what they wanted and what they needed, which a lot of times doesn't necessarily align. And we still came out with a really cool looking design. Um, the client wanted to stick as much as we could to their original logo. They're a family owned company. They've had this logo a long time. They were pretty attached to it. But what they needed was a facelift because the logo did need help, and then all the identity that goes along with it. So I really like this project for its simplicity. If you look at the logo, the lettering doesn't necessarily jump out as custom. There's not a lot of fancy tricks and stuff, but it is custom to them. Um, and then it really, I think, how effectively it references the original brand while still giving them a really strong and much more current visual identity that is a better representation of the company, was a real success.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they needed because they were also going to roll that into website project and new marketing campaign stuff too. And the brand as a whole is going to play a big role in that. And
Yeah,
what, go ahead.
I think we gave them a really good starting point for the rest of the team to work on that and for all our marketing efforts moving forward. So.
And was there any challenge in getting this thing updated in a way that everyone was happy with and that would work well for all those aspects?
Yeah, like I mentioned, the client was a little skeptical, I think, about updating their brand. Being family owned and having this logo and brand for a while, they were pretty attached to it. And I think it was difficult at first to look at the original logo and see how we were going to be able to pull anything out of it to make a new, well-designed identity. Like even some people here at Luminous were a little bit uncertain, but I think we really broke down the elements of the logo and understood what they represented, and we were able to reference them in a way that created a much more modern professional logo that then carried to the rest of the identity. I think it much better represents what Russin is.
Yeah. So what does this do for them to have the new brand identity and this overhaul?
So like I said, it's a lot better representation of the scale and status of Russin in their industry and the quality of products they offer. Um, they offer a lot of high-end building materials, and that's kind of where they wanted to focus. And this new identity is much more representative of that than what they have. They're no longer, or they're not just a lumber yard. They're a provider of high-end building materials. So I think this new identity helps reaffirm with their longtime customers what they already knew, and it helps new customers immediately recognize the kind of company they're working with. Because that was another challenge we faced, was that they were concerned that any changes would throw off their longtime customers. But I don't think this is going to have that problem.
So what else about the project kind of makes it stand out to you?
I think this, maybe more so than even some other projects, shows that a little bit of trust can go a long way. As we discussed, Rustin was uneasy about the change at first, but by giving us a chance to make our point, they've ended up with a much stronger brand. I think a lot of companies would benefit from taking an objective look at their brand and asking, is this the representation of who we are today and who we want to be in the future, and is this the best way to speak to our target market. Obviously we want to make stuff that looks cool, but at the end of the day, if it's not what's best for the client, it reflects as poorly on us as it would for them. So I don't think we'd ever steer a company in the wrong direction for the sake of just making something that looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, it is steering to you, right? It's a collaboration. We're doing concepts, they're giving feedback, and it gets everyone to a spot where we can meet all those challenges and have something awesome.
Right. Yeah. Like we discussed, we obviously a large part of this was taking into consideration what they wanted in terms of maintaining a certain link to their original brand, and that is a big part of what drove this new identity to becoming what it is.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks for sharing. I think everyone's going to enjoy listening to this, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy talking about my work. So.
Cool. Thanks, John.